This episode is brought to you by Marqeta. When it comes to your payments provider, you can't afford to compromise. Marqeta's modern payment solutions flex with your business without the trade-offs. Stable and agile, secure and innovative, scalable and configurable. If they say you can't have it all, don't believe them. Your business demands more. Choose a payments provider that delivers more. Choose Marqeta. Visit marqeta.com/Spotify to learn more.
Optimism isn't sunshine and rainbows. It's fixing things, changing the way we fix things. It's running the world on smarter energy. Because if optimism never stops, then change can't either. GE Vernova, the energy of change.
Welcome to episode 73 of the Inside Job Boards and Recruitment Marketplaces podcast. I am Stephen Rothberg with College Recruiter. I am one of your co-hosts. And once again, joined by my partner. I don't know if it's really a crime. I guess it depends on what we say today, whether it's actually criminal.
We're definitely not as criminal as Chad and Cheese when it comes to blue language, right? The seven words you can't say on TV. They use every one of them in every one of their podcasts. I'm Peter Zollman. I'm founding principal of the AIM Group. We do business intelligence for recruitment marketplaces, and we've already got more than 20 registrations for RecBuzz next year.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Pretty amazing. So,
well, it's in, I think, April in Vienna, Austria, where I've never gone to, but I'm hoping that next April I will. So awesome. So Peter,
you were already registered and paid your money, so you better be there.
I did. Okay.
Maybe not.
I think so.
Maybe not. You should.
Somebody at College Recruiter might have, but it wasn't me. Not yet.
Yeah. Okay.
We are going to talk today about revenues, therefore probably also profits, but it's definitely not the same thing. In our lovely little industry, in the job board and recruitment marketplaces industry. Some of the public companies, DHI Group, which owns Dice and some other brands, Recruit, which owns brands like Glassdoor, Workopolis, and this little site called Indeed, and ZipRecruiter. Some of them are pretty easy to see what their revenues, what their profitability is, because they're publicly traded. Most of the organizations in our industry aren't. All right. So it takes some sleuthing to figure out what their revenues are, what their profitability is. But I think it's fair to say that the new normal in our industry since we came out of the pandemic and that massive hiring boom is at best flat revenues, often down substantially, sometimes like a third down. And organizations that were very profitable, maybe now are marginally profitable. Those that were marginally profitable, maybe now are losing money. Are you seeing the same thing at the AIM Group?
Well, our revenues are totally unrelated.
Oh, not yours. I just mean, is that your perception also for the industry?
Yes, but here's the question.
Yeah.
Two parts of the same question. Is the slump temporary or permanent? Number one. And number two, are we just coming off an unrealistic high?
Yeah.
And I think the answer to the second is yes.
Yep.
There was a mad scramble and craziness during the pandemic.
Yep.
And people who thought it would continue forever were probably unrealistic.
Yeah.
I mean, since time immemorial, hiring has been cyclical.
Yep.
Recessions, booms, busts. Hiring in the U.S. is still very strong. Hiring in most other markets is still pretty strong. But a lot of advertising has stopped because the candidates are not there, or because the hiring has slowed down and people are going into their ATSs and finding people who applied earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think we're coming off an unrealistic high. So So there's a new normal level. It was up here or up here, and now it's probably here. And the question is, will we get back up?
Yeah.
Or is it going to stay down or go down further? And I think it varies from recruitment site to recruitment site. And I think it varies to a degree depending on economy here, the economy in your country, wherever you may be, the elections, and that applies to France, that applies to the
Yep.
US, that applies to the UK,
Yep.
that applies to a number of other countries. In Latin America, they're having a lot of electoral issues now. So, is the slump permanent? I don't think so, but
Right.
I think revenue is resetting to a more normal level when it was abnormally high due to the pandemic.
Yeah, I agree. I think just to add to what you're saying, I look at it like rather than like this, I kind of think more pendulum. And, when we went from 2019 into 2020 and the pandemic hit, right, there were tons of layoffs. Very few organizations were doing any kind of hiring, right? That the Amazons of the world were doing a lot of hiring because of e-commerce, but not all e-commerce companies. And so we had massive layoffs. That pendulum swung very far in that direction. And then, like at College Recruiter, we saw a massive bounce back within just a few months. By like June, July, we were back to what we were before COVID. And then over the next year, kind of like what you're saying, Peter, it became unrealistically high. Like a former chair, I think, of the Federal Reserve in the US, Alan Greenspan, he used to talk about the economy being frothy. It was a bubble, kind of ready to pop. And, I think in the fall of 2022, I think we were kind of at the peak of that, right? And then we got into 2023. The bottom kind of fell out in a lot of markets and a lot of industries for a lot of reasons. I agree with you, though. I think we're kind of getting back to more of a equilibrium, sort of a healthy balance. I'll give you another reason that I'd love to hear your feedback on this. Is I've heard not a reason, but something that's interesting to me, as I've heard a massive disparity between the big general sites, the Zips, the Indeeds of the world, and smaller niche sites. It seems to me that some of the smaller niche sites have hardly been impacted at all.
Hey, it's Libby DeLucian. If you're sick of business advice that sounds cute but doesn't actually move the needle forward, this one's for you. The Libby DeLucian podcast is where we go one layer deep. No gurus, no glitter, just straight up unfiltered talk about scaling a business, running a household, and holding on to your sanity in the middle of the chaos. If you're the bottleneck in your business or in your own life, I'll show you how to fix it. Simple, tactical, and one layer deep every time. Let's go. Visit libbyd.com and check out our podcast today.
And others have been massively impacted. All of the general sites, the big general sites, seem to have been massively impacted. So it seems like some of the niche sites are okay and others are hurting.
Well, College Recruiter, are you
Yeah.
way down? Are you back up a little bit? Where are you? And I'm not asking for specific numbers.
Yeah, no, we're just about at the end of second quarter 2024. So we don't have our Q2 numbers in yet, but we have some projected numbers. Q1 2024 was better than Q1 2023. Q2 2024 looks to be better than Q1 2024 and also Q2 2024. So kind of however you slice and dice it, we're doing better than we were earlier this year and also a year ago. But I've heard I'm hearing like all different sorts of things. I'm hearing from some of the biggest, best sites that they continue to be way down. They continue to really struggle. And, I think some of that's reflected in some of the announcements that we've seen recently from like Indeed getting more into staffing. I think if the job board business was just rocking, I don't know if they would be making that move. I don't see them completely pivoting and leaving the job board world, but I do think they're looking for more revenues. They're looking for more profitability, and probably concluded that our industry isn't going to be big enough for them to get the kind of growth that they want.
I disagree with you there. I mean, Indeed, Recruit Holdings, right? The parent company is at its core a staffing company.
100%.
And has been.
Yeah.
And so Indeed moving into it, they may have pushed up the timetable, but all they're doing is living up to their DNA.
Yes.
And Deco, who is the CEO of Recruit, who was formerly CEO of Indeed, it's obvious. And I don't see that as a surprise at all. Timing may be a little bit of a surprise, but it's their DNA. I mean, you can't make a surgeon stop operating on people. That's what she does. You can't convince, a garbage man to stop picking up the garbage. That's what he does, or she. I don't want to be sexist here. People
you are very sexy, Peter. You are very sexy.
Sexist, I said, not sexy.
Is there a difference?
Anyway, in any case, so talking about Q1, Q2, is there typically a little bit of a summer slump? And what should you, as a job board, whomever you are, be doing now to prepare for hiring as it picks up in when? July, August, September, October, November? What do you do?
We usually see sort of June and July as being pretty slow or flat. Our biggest slumps, if you will, are usually a week or so at a time around major holidays. So like next week, Independence Day in the US, Labor Day, that kind of timing is slow, Thanksgiving week, Christmas, New Year's, but otherwise the seasonality with us, it's not so much the summertime. Where we definitely do, however, see business going from flat to up is once we get well into August, and then like September, October is rocking, and that's usually related to the holidays. That's Amazon, UPS, FedEx, et cetera, staff, retailers, Target, Walmart, et cetera, staffing up for the holidays. What do you do? What do you do?
Counterparts do?
Yeah, plant seeds. If you don't plant seeds now, then you aren't going to have anything to harvest, 3, 4, 5 months from now. And what I mean by that is it's unrealistic, especially if you're dealing with larger or employers, larger customers where you've got a significant purchase. It's unrealistic to call them up on September 9th and expect that they're going to buy a major package from you on September 10th when they've never heard about you, right? You need to reach out to them. You need to activate them. You need to find out what they're looking for. You need to get proposals. I think a lot of smaller organizations don't fully appreciate how long it takes to get approvals within a big organization. You got to get 12 different people to all sign off on it. And in the summertime, for those of us in the Northern Hemisphere, this is a time when a lot of people are on vacation or leave. So you might be dealing with somebody who needs to get an approval from her manager, but her manager is out for the next 3 weeks. And then when her manager gets back, your point of contact is out for the next 2 weeks. So before you know it, it's 5 weeks. Nothing to do with you, just vacation schedules. So you really need to get in the door and be talking to them and get that proposal ready for them to say yes.
Fair enough. So, and we talked a little bit about niche boards or niche boards for our UK and Brit English speakers. How does a niche board or niche board differentiate itself from the big boys and make sure that it is true to its niche and focuses on those people in the industry where it's not just listings. It's got to be more than that. What do you do?
Yeah, well, it's a whole different topic for a whole different episode, but let me answer your question as best as I can be. And
Ooh, we're
before
out
the
of
time
time.
gets,
I didn't
yeah,
realize.
yeah. So, at a high level, I think we need to remember why our customers come to us as niche boards instead of going to the big general sites.
Well,
Sometimes
my
what I hear
answer,
from a niche board
yeah.
is that customers come to the niche boards because they're less expensive. Okay, fair enough. Other times I hear, and I think this is a better reason for quality or perceived quality, that you're not going to get as many retail people applying to engineering jobs, for example, or people in Australia applying to jobs in France. I think all of that's true. Sometimes too, our customers come to us, not just College Recruiter, but other niche sites, because we are smaller, we are more adaptable. They have more power in working with us than they do with a big general site. And so they can get us to be more flexible in how we deliver the product, the terms, the size of the package, et cetera. But really understanding why your customers are buying and not buying, I think leads you to the answer that you're looking for. Any closing words?
Closing words are: it's great to be back. Good to talk to you. I didn't realize we had run as long as we had, and I will see you in a few weeks.
This is the podcast for the Runneth at the